Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be exploring the outstanding Annihilation, which is a 2018 sci-fi horror film written and directed by the talented Alex Garland, starring Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, Tessa Thompson, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Based on the celebrated novel of the same name by Jeff VanderMeer, the first book in his Southern Reach trilogy, the film follows a team of scientists who enter the Shimmer, a mysterious quarantined zone of mutating landscapes and transforming creatures, hoping to better understand it before it grew to encompass everything. While much of its substance stems from VanderMeer's novel, Garland admitted that he wrote the film drawing inspiration from aspects of the novel, rather than laying out a chronological retelling of the book. The film actually has more in common with H.P. Lovecraft's 1927 short story, The Color Out of Space, which is about a meteor that lands in a swamp and unleashes a plague, poisoning every living being nearby and deforming them into grotesque shapes and forms. Mirroring the mystique of films like Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was a visual meditation on humanity and the universe, Annihilation succeeds by portraying an incomprehensibly beautiful ecological and genetic nightmare of extraterrestrial origins and supplementing it with us, humans, forcing us to deconstruct what it means to be human before understanding the effect the Shimmer had on our physiology. In this way, the film is about two things: the Shimmer and humanity as a whole. Told in a non-linear framework, the film begins at a government facility designated Area X, located on the southern coast of the US. It's here that we get our first glimpse of the film's protagonist, Lena, a cellular biology professor and former soldier who is now being debriefed in quarantine conditions. It's explained that she had just returned from a 4-month expedition into an anomalous, iridescent electromagnetic field called the Shimmer, of which she and her husband Kane were the only survivors. Shifting back in time, Lena's husband Kane appears in their home after being reported MIA for nearly a year. While Lena was thrilled to see him again, Kane appeared to be detached, remembering nothing about his time in the Shimmer or how he came back. After bleeding into his cup of water as a result of unexplained malignancies that cause him to suffer from organ failure, the pair are soon intercepted by a covert security team that transports them to the secret facility for observation. After demanding an answer for why they were being treated in this way, a psychologist named Dr. Ventress finally revealed that an unexplained entity had crashed into Earth a few miles from their location 3 years prior, before spreading to encompass much of the area. With no understanding of what they were dealing with, the government had essentially sent over drones, animals, and military teams, including Kane's units, into the Shimmer in an attempt to reach the lighthouse where the phenomenon first appeared. As of that point in time, Kane was the only person to have returned from inside the Shimmer, and with his life currently on the line, Lena, who had previously served in the military, volunteered to join Ventress on a research expedition consisting of 2 other military scientists and a paramedic. While the beginning of the film suggested that both Lena and Kane were in a deeply romantic relationship, we soon come to realize that Lena's self-destructive tendencies had caused her to cheat on him whenever he left to serve, something that Kane eventually discovered, leading him to take on more and more dangerous missions. The theme of self-destruction is one that reverberates throughout the film. When Lena confronted Dr. Ventress about sending her husband to his death, Ventress suggested that almost no one is suicidal, and that they're simply self-destructive, and this would come in the form of an urge to drink, smoke, overeat, or even wreck a perfectly happy career or marriage, alluding to Lena's relationship with Kane. It's also slowly revealed that all of the teams Dr. Ventress had assembled to enter the Shimmer were all driven by more than purely a sense of duty. In the case of the film's central team, Ventress had cancer, and she was also burdened with the realization that she had sent 11 teams of brave soldiers to their presumable deaths. Josie is also revealed to be suicidal due to an existential void in her life. Anya is a recovering addict, and Cassie believes she has nothing to lose after the death of her young daughter. After entering the Shimmer, the team's guidance technology, radio signals, and compass begin to fail, and the group begin to realize that they are unable to remember extended stretches of time. They also notice the cross-hybridization of plant life around them, with each flower containing the genetic diversity of a forest. While scouting the area, Josie is attacked by a mutated alligator, and after taking it down, the group discover that the alligator had also become hybridized, taking on some of the physical characteristics of a shark, like the extra rows of sharp teeth in its mouth. After what seemed like a few days of traveling towards the source of the Shimmer, they finally reach an abandoned military base where they find evidence of Kane's expedition along with a memory card that had been left for them. When they play the recording, the team are horrified to see Kane cutting into the stomach of one of his comrades while he was still alive, revealing that his intestines had begun to wriggle like a snake. They also find the body of the soldier from the video in an empty pool, where his body had mutated into a cross-hybridization of the genetic material found within the Shimmer. After setting up camp for the night, the perimeter fence is torn open in the early hours of the morning, prompting everyone to investigate, leading to an attack on Cassie by a mutated bear that drags her away. As the team continues towards the lighthouse at the center of the Shimmer, they find a decayed settlement with human-shaped plants outside. Josie, the team's physicist, explains that she thinks the Shimmer is affecting organisms like a prism, distorting and refracting DNA in the same way that a prism refracts light. And with this news, each of the expedition members begins to realize that they were also slowly changing as well. This of course feeds into the central theme of Annihilation, which was the human impulse to destroy ourselves, something that the Shimmer was doing to create change on an ecological scale. After descending into a psychotic state and restraining the other team members, Anya soon hears the sound of Cassie's voice crying for help outside. But this turns out to be the bear, having had a part of Cassie's consciousness transferred to it during the attack, giving rise to one of the most unsettling scenes I've witnessed this year. Anya is soon killed by the bear before it's eventually taken down by Josie, leading Ventress to leave the remaining members of the team behind, hoping to complete the journey to the lighthouse while she still could. Lena attempts to encourage Josie to join her for the remainder of the trek, but Josie, who finds flowers growing out of her body, explains that while Ventress wanted to face the Shimmer and Lena wished to destroy it, she felt nothing and only desired to surrender to the change that was taking her over, eventually becoming one of the plants that had taken the shape of people. Lena finally reaches the lighthouse and goes inside, finding a charred skeleton, a video camera, and a hole in the floor. She watches the video and sees Kane sitting down as he holds a phosphorus grenade while talking to someone behind the camera. He asks the person behind the camera to take care of Lena before he pulls the pin on the grenade and blows himself up. The person behind the camera then walks into view and is revealed to be a biological duplicate of Kane, and the version that we saw during the film's introduction. Descending further into the lighthouse, Lena finds the source of the Shimmer and Ventress at its center, explaining that the Shimmer was of alien origin and that it was preparing for annihilation, prior to dissolving into a fiery nebulous structure that was in a constant state of change. Hypnotizing both the audience and Lena, the source then absorbs a drop of blood from Lena's face and creates a humanoid body that begins to mimic all of Lena's movements, before eventually pinning her down as she tried to escape. Now changing her tactics, Lena then tricked the humanoid, which had now changed into a biological duplicate, by placing a phosphorus grenade in its hand and pulling the pin, causing it to go up in flames. Much like how the bear had attacked Cassie and absorbed a portion of her consciousness through contact, the duplicate of Lena absorbed her self-destructive tendencies and began setting the rest of itself alight. This in turn caused the other Shimmer constructs to collapse as the entity seemingly dissipated to nothingness. We then return to Lena in the facility as she finishes her debriefing, where it's confirmed that the Shimmer was now gone. Lena surmises that it wasn't necessarily aiming to destroy the Earth, but was instead trying to make something new. It's also revealed that after the Shimmer had disappeared, Kane had woken up and was now in a lucid state, and when Lena eventually goes to his room and asks whether he was the real Kane, the duplicate tells her that he didn't think so. He also asks her if she was Lena, and she says nothing prior to them embracing. We then get a final look at their eyes, which begin to change color, indicating that the Shimmer was still present within them. By the film's conclusion, it becomes clear that the Shimmer was in essence a being without an apparent will, existing only to propagate itself across the universe and assimilate everything into itself. The Shimmer did not seek self-destruction, as the impulse to seek annihilation was an entirely human phenomenon ingrained within us at a biological level, and while much of it had been destroyed after introducing self-destructiveness to its genetic makeup, the Shimmer had reached a new stage of evolution and change in the form of Lena and Kane. Annihilation is a mind-boggling psychoanalysis of the human condition, using the foreign environment of the Shimmer to refract our understanding of that which it means to be human. With stunning visuals and a magnificent soundtrack that are used in nuanced ways to communicate its ideas and provide deeper context, Annihilation is one of this year's most intelligent and thought-provoking films, and I highly recommend that you guys check this one out if you haven't already. Well, that's all for today, folks. Big thanks to all of you guys who requested an explanation of Annihilation. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content. And if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.